Anyone here wonder if this is all even worth it? Today I just feel really defeated, like I'm seriously failing at this. I have 6 doors total from 3 duplexes. One which I own or occupy. Last month I had to go on a wild goose chase for the rent from one tenant. Philly has a eviction diversion program you have to participate in before evicting any tenant for any reason. Also found out that one of my other tenants has a severe roach infestation that they didn't inform about. The exterminator I called is refusing to start work until they declutter the space. I have a vacancy that I've been renovating since October, but it's just been very difficult to find the time while working a full-time job. The other unit is about to be vacant after this month, also needs a renovation. Actually, all the units with the exception of the one that we live in need renovations. The properties won't actually make real money until the mortgages are paid off, since taxes, insurance are going up so insanely. I work a pretty well-paying job, often wonder if this is worth it. Anyone here relate? Or is it time to just get a prop manager power through? Any long-time investors here with any insight or advice? Cap rates are actually 9, but the cash flow is extremely low because of mortgages and taxes. In case no one tells you otherwise, it's okay to sell. This is certainly to be expected in C or D class areas. You have to be tough as nails to succeed in low-end rentals. With that said, been doing this for almost 20 years and still get discouraged sometimes. I just own 1 door now and struggling to get into the market for a second. I'm wondering how most of you guys are even doing this. After analyzing the costs to purchase, repairs, running fees, tax, maintenance, eviction process, worst case scenario, along with rising interest rates affecting the value of the property. At that point you're barely cash flowing and at the whim of the market, hoping not one small thing happens that knocks your returns. Newer investor and my 2 duplexes have been pains in my ass. Something always breaks and the tenants complain about so much. SFRs are the way to go. My duplexes are 4,000 SF factoring in basements and attics. Add in that they're 100 years old and the headaches are multiplied. They're in C areas and the tenants kind of reflect that. Just rented out 2 of my SFRs, so I hope they perform as well as my other single. Don't quit. Investing is a long game and sometimes you have to shuffle the deck a bit before you get a hand you're happy with. Yeah, I feel your pain. It's one of the reasons I only invest in A-to-B neighborhoods and try to stick to SFHs. My plan is to have rental income in 15-20 so I can easily retire and then give the homes to my kids to either let them do what they want with them. I get paid well for my full-time job and love doing it, so I'm not in a rush to have rental income. I'm happy with $1,400 extra a month and people paying off the mortgages. I took a good chunk of cash out of them in COVID to buy my dream home in Philly. Had 2 tenants complain about rats and roaches in my triplex, so I sent a cleaning crew into the 3rd unit out of pocket. Up the problem tenant's rent to account for routine cleaning crew until the problem tenant left. Sometimes you just gotta invest in your investments. The biggest lie is that this shit is passive. I only buy properties for speculative cap growth, not 2 or 4 or even 6 rent returns with lots of effort and or fees, pre-land tax, etc. My father separately has bought properties 20 years ago, even after rents going up 4-5x these 20 years, and on gearing as low as 20. He's hardly cash flow positive after all these interest rates and land tax. But whatever, at least they places went up around $600,700. Quit renting to the pores. What neighborhood in Philly? Running a small business is hard. It certainly is more effort than collecting checks. If it's a long-term investment, and you live in a decent area, it may be worth it to power through it. Renovate and charge premium rent. If you don't think you can pull premium rent, sell. What you shouldn't do is throw your hands up and resign yourself to running a slum. If after all the bullshit you still make money mortgage paydown, then it is money you wouldn't have otherwise. I kind of hate my rentals as well and generally don't agree with putting the onus on landlords to provide social housing, but I do believe over time it will pay off, and everyone I know who has sold regrets it later. Personally, your exact scenario is why I don't buy cheap properties in bad area codes simply to get into the real estate game. I learned very early that a good paying tenant with lower cap rate triumphs questionable tenants with higher ones. Renovations happen to both. It is unavoidable unless you purchase a turnkey, but even then stuff comes up. It comes with this game. In your case, I would definitely sell considering your cap rate is extremely low. Even building equity doesn't seem to be worth it if you don't have time to service the places. Maybe sell too and buy a Class A or B property. I think you would be much happier with that. Don't quit, you only fail if you quit. Can you sell off one of the 3 duplexes? Raise some capital. JV with a buddy investor. Hire a contractor to fix up the other 2. Sounds like you might have overpaid? Do not ever do that again. Like ever. Honestly, I would get a property manager at this point. You don't need to be dealing with all of this. You're an investor, not a landlord. I say this as a former property manager and current investor managing my own doors. I'm about to turn them over to a prop management company because I'm tired of dealing with all the things that come up, even though I'm licensed. Shift the focus on the renovations. Give yourself a timeline goal and complete that reno of the unit ASAP. Then decide if you want to sell and complete the reno of the second unit that is about to be vacant. Get the roach infestation challenge solved fixed. If you decide to sell, then you will get more money for the units that are renovated. That is your carrot stick. Dwell on the end result of the renovations, not the current challenges. I'm in Philly too, so I feel your pain. I am a new investor, so I don't have any advice, but I wish you well. It is overwhelming, and also question if it's worth it. Real estate can be lucrative, but PPL don't realize it's a heavily based law, and PPL business and expenses are pretty huge. It's a relatively good long-term investment though. If you don't like doing the reno and getting your portfolio stable part, consider hiring a property manager. You could even look at doing a temp contract to have them handle all reno and leases and manage it full-time when it's fully leased. But a PM may be your answer to not being so overwhelmed. Real estate investing is a get-rich-slow scheme. Remember, you are playing the long game. You also get principal pay down and hopefully appreciation. Why do you not have the savings to renovate? 1. Live in your worst unit and redo it while living there. 2. Once your duplex is renovated and rented, then sell them. 3. Buy a better rental or 2. Some people can do the low-tier rentals, but I got out as fast as possible. It is easier to deal with better people in better rentals. Eventually I went to commercial and vacation rental. In the short term it is tough, in the long term it is worth it. Yes, I question this frequently. 85% of Warren Buffett's wealth was accumulated after age 65, typical retirement age. Our brains are simply not built to understand compounding. Almost all of the return happens at the end, even though almost all the work is at the beginning. That said, I do think property management is a good deal. I can definitely relate. Tried residential twice. It was an effing nightmare. Zero interest in doing it again anytime soon, and especially not with the COVID mess. Perhaps when I retire and need the entertainment. Slow flips and commercial is all we are looking for now.